no one to come my neighbor. I said without you, there'll be no one to show I care. Oh, without you, there will be no me. That's why I say, I want you to look at me like a stranger. I don't want to come across to you like just another nigga. I know you can trust someone, you have to trust someone. Oh, without you, there'll be no me. Hi. This one is not. Sorry. All right, thank you. I was so worried. I want you to see me as you don't bless me, but that one what we say, I will come inside the cozy room. See, we are all different, in our own different ways, but we are one in the same one struggle. Because without you, there will be no one to come, my brother. Say without you, there will be no one to come, my brother. Say without you, there will be no one to come, my African queen. But without you, there will be no me. That's why I say, I don't want you to look at me like a stranger. I don't want to come across to you like just another nigga. I know you can't trust nobody, but you have to trust someone. Oh, that's why I want you to see me as your brother. Oh, hey, brother. Bless us, bless you. Woo! Yes, sir, man. Guys, we are so sorry about the as you see me, so I no send you. What's wrong with this one?
So, even if it means that I want to commit suicide, you don't care?
Hey, try them now. If they catch you, they'll put you in jail, Nigeria.
Do you know one Ifeanyi Ugokwe? Ifeanyi Ugokwe was arrested and imprisoned.
For what?
He was imprisoned because he tried to take his own life. In Nigeria, the act of attempting to commit suicide is a crime and is punishable by 1 year in prison.
Oh my God.
What?
So does it mean that the government don't even care about the citizen mental state of their citizens?
Honestly, Jane,
yeah.
Even the citizens themselves. You remember there is a video we posted online. There is a video we posted online. The guy in the video was making mockery of those that are suicidal. It's really terrible.
But anyway, that's too bad. Very, very, very bad. But anyway, thank God it's Friday, and thank you for tuning into In Our Mind Talk Show. Where else will you be every Friday apart from this platform where you come in to have fun and get entertained, win prizes, learn, and then have
fun all the way. Yes,
true.
This na the Obonge platform where we dey look out for all the nyama things where they happen for we country.
Yes, so
and I make today we want to talk about the very disturbing topic, which is the high rate of suicide in Nigeria.
Yes, so but before we start, we have to talk about our contest first.
Yes.
Because if you're new to the platform, we have 4 contests.
The first one, okay, we're doing question and answer today.
Yeah.
The first one is the fastest finger.
Yes.
And for you to win, you have to be the first to comment.
Yes.
But not that you will comment and go.
No.
You have to be here and make the show more active
and lively.
Yeah. And then we have the highest shares.
Yes.
And the highest tag.
Yes.
This is the person that got that tag the most or share the most wins this one. And remember it's 5,000 each.
5,000.
Then we have 1,000 comments.
Yes.
Which is the person that leaves the comment after 999 comments.
True.
Wins that. And then we have question and answer.
Question and answer. Don't go anywhere. We'll do it anytime within the show.
Yes.
Yes, so oftentimes we hear people ignorantly teasing victims of suicide or depression. They say something like, look at this guy has a lot of things. Why did he die? Or she's so beautiful. How come she committed suicide? Or this guy had a good job and he is even in the university. Yes, he committed suicide. Remember, there are many videos online with people that abuse suicide victims. Some of them say they are cowards. Some say they are stupid or attention seekers. Now, societies and religion have labeled suicide. In some societies and religion, suicide is labeled as a taboo. That is why people don't want to talk about it. But tonight, here in this platform, we want to bring the issue to limelight. We urge you all to please call in to talk about it. And so on.
And tonight we have two guests. The first guest is Lawrence Van-Beest. Lawrence lost his son to suicide barely 2 weeks ago. He has since then devoted his time to supporting suicide victims and survivors. And Lawrence is a successful entrepreneur and philanthropist. And so he's going to join us live now.
And again, the second person, before Lawrence comes in, the second guest speaker is a specialist. He is a rehabilitation specialist. His name is Emeka Okwaba. Emeka is a discharge facilitator and referral manager with who works with aged adults. He works with the mental health NHS services and looks after the well-being of citizens and victims and survivors of depression and suicide.
Now let's welcome Lawrence Van-Beest.
Lawrence, come on in,
guys.
Please, you guys should give him amazing welcome as usual.
Welcome, Lawrence. Welcome. Oh, and sorry again about your son. I know it's actually sad. Can you tell us anything about him, about your son?
Well,
you look at
my son
and speak loud.
My son was born when I was 17 years old, and I only got to spend the first 3 months of his life with him when he was a baby, and then his mum moved away because we was having difficulties and we wasn't really a family unit. And
sorry, Lawrence, you have to talk
a bit louder.
Louder and slower.
We'll show them later, maybe when they bring it.
Okay, but he was a beautiful boy, and his whole life he was like kind of just tormented with the fact that I was demonised as a person to him, as a man and his father, but at the same time he wanted to know the other half of who he was. You know, a mother and a father create one person, and that person is like half of them and half of you.
True.
You know, and when you're told your whole life that the person, the other half of you, is a demon and a bad person, you end up hating yourself.
Do you know why, what's the name of your son and how old was he when he committed suicide?
Like, his name's Elliot and he
Elliot.
was 17 years old.
Okay, he was 17 years old. Do you know why he committed suicide?
He had a child 3 weeks before, and basically we was in conversation quite a lot, and he said to me, how can I live knowing that my little daughter is going to have the same life that I've had or possibly worse? You know, and as a man, it's like when you've got a son, I'm not saying it's different, but obviously men see it different. When you've got a daughter and you know how you feel about yourself, and as like with my boy, I thought he'll find his feet how I found my feet. But with a daughter that's damaged the same way that he was damaged, he could only see that, is my daughter going to turn into my mother? Is my daughter going to turn into a woman that will have just any man in their home just to fill the holes? And it's just like he was scared of that vicious cycle continuing. He was just like, you know.
But you and the mom broke up when he was.
We was never together.
Oh, but
we was just dating, seeing each other. I was with somebody else when I met her. Like, I'll be honest.
Okay.
I was already in a relationship.
Okay.
But like, I was in a relationship with someone that, like, I don't know. I was just a young man. I was a young man. I didn't. To be honest, I didn't have a father. I don't know what being a man is, and I was craving affection, like a lot of young people do. And anyone who shows you that they kind of want to pull you close to them, it's like there's no excuse for it, and it's not right. But you know, if I knew now what I knew then, I would have just been a faithful man, stayed with one woman for my whole life, had a good family and whatever. But when you're a child from a broken home and you've had no experience of what a man is, what real love is, and what stability is, you're unstable.
Do you feel guilty because the way you're speaking, like if you know now what you know then, if you know then what you know now, do you feel guilty losing your son to suicide?
I don't feel like it's my fault. I feel like I probably could have helped him,
Yeah.
but I could have helped him cope. But he was deep down inside. He was like there was something broken in him. Like, and if I'm honest, for him as a person, as my son, I feel a slight sense of like, I don't want to sound bad. I do. I'll be honest. You ask me questions, I'll be honest. I feel relieved for him that his struggle's over. Yeah, I've lost my best friend. I've lost the only person in my life that could look at me and look at him, and I knew what he was thinking, how he was feeling, and but because of his loyalty to his mother and other things, and like, I don't know, it's hard. It's really hard.
Do you blame his mother then?
No, I don't blame anyone. He made a choice as an adult that he was.
He's just 17.
Yeah, I know, and I wasn't an adult 17, but I had him when I was 17. When he was born, I had suicidal thoughts, and I still do. I still think about it quite frequently.
Wow.
If I'm honest, I think about it a lot. You know, because everyone in my life and people in my community, they'll see me driving around in a nice car, having a nice time, sitting in restaurants, thinking, "Oh, it's alright for him.
It's not very.
He's doing.
He's doing very well, but you see,
financial and emotional is separate. You know.
But was there any sign that he's going to commit suicide? Did he say anything to you?
Like we discussed it, and like we kind of
discussed it.
Not discussed like, are you going to do it? Are you not going to do it? Like he said to me a few times, like, oh, I've had enough of life. I'm going to blah blah. And then I kind of talked him down, calmed him down. Like,
can you please slow down?
Sorry,
because our audience, this is something that is very increasing in our community. So they really, really want to hear from you as someone that lost his son to suicide. So so speak slowly and louder.
At least like once a month, he would ring me up, like, because he did take drugs and drink and get involved in things he shouldn't have, and then like when he was on a come down or when he was feeling bad, he'd ring me up crying, saying, Dad, I've had enough, I don't know what to do myself, like I hate myself, I hate life, I hate, even he said I hate you sometimes. And it's I've said the same to my father, you know, and I said to him, you've got every right to hate me, but I said, you know, like, you need to start thinking about kind of, I don't know, just living. And
okay. Do you know how he committed suicide? How did he kill himself?
From what I understand, he took like some very strong heart medication.
Oh, medication.
And amphetamines at the same time that was going to make his heart race and stop at the same time. And he knew what he was doing. He wasn't stupid.
There is Lawrence. There is a question here from our audience. He's asking James. He said, "Did you ever ask him what was bothering him, or you didn't know he's going through something?"
We spoke about our problems all the time. We was very open with each other, and like it come as such a shock to me because of how close we was as like father and son. He lived with me for a year and a half. We worked together, and then he went away. And I knew he was tormented. I understood that he had demons inside of him, but I honestly believed, it didn't cross my mind that he would actually go to the length of what he did.
Please, you guys should continue writing or calling to ask him any personal question. We have Lucia on the platform. She said, did you notice any depression in him? Maybe he somehow feels worried. Did you see any signs that he would kill himself? Any signs?
I think that, like, when he introduced me to the girl that he had a baby with, and like, I was like, and it was the first girl he's ever said, look, Dad, I've got a girlfriend, and blah, blah. And me and my wife drove to go and see him, and we picked them up, and we went out for a meal. And like 2-3 weeks later, he was like, oh, she's gone. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And then he didn't find out she was pregnant till 7 months later.
Wow.
When it was too late for him to make a difference or make a decision. The choice was out of his hands.
Yeah.
And the first thing he said to me was, Dad, I need to tell you something, but before I tell you, I want to apologise for how I've seen you my whole life. Because now I'm in your situation. Yeah? A girl is having my baby, and she hasn't given me the choice or the respect or the time to kind of be there or say, don't do it or whatever. And I said, and he was like, acting like it was cool. And then I said, when that baby's born, it's going to hit you like, boom.
Yeah. Lawrence, when we met you, you said that your son left a note.
A suicide note.
He left suicide note for you, the mom
and the sister.
And the sister. Have you seen the? You've not. So you don't actually know.
His mum took it. But to be honest with you, I want to see it.
Yeah.
But I know what he said because we spoke so much. I was so. Like, me and my son were like just doubles, you know, like, and he would be talking to me and I would say to him, Elliot, I know what you're trying to get at, I know what you're trying to do. Or like, he'd ring me, like when we first got close, like he would try and emotionally blackmail me. Like when he left, he was like, oh Dad, I'm in trouble, I need blah, blah. I was like, financially, I'm here for you emotionally, but I'm never going to give you money to feed your habit and take you down deeper. If you want to take drugs, you want to drink or whatever, you go and get a little job or you figure out a way to do your thing. But I'm not going to be the person who supplies.
All right. You said that you're just coming back from his burial. Actually, Lawrence's son,
Elliot.
Elliot. Lawrence's son, Elliot, was actually buried this morning.
Yeah.
He's coming from the burial. Yeah, is that correct?
Yeah.
Now the question is this: was Elliot living with any of his parents, and are both parents alive?
No, both parents are alive, yeah, but he was living in assisted living, like miles away from both of us.
Why was that the case?
he spent a lot of his life in Borstal, which is like a kind of private school for naughty boys. That's what they called it. And then he's been in care. He's lived with me and my other baby mum. I've got 3 children with her. He lived with us for a while.
Did he have any depression, mental? Is he autistic? Does he have any illness? We are trying to find out why he was
low. He was very low inside himself, and he was told when he was young that he was autistic. But I don't think he ever was.
Okay.
He was just lost. He didn't understand.
All right.
Yeah. And was he in education? Was he in school?
No. Not at all. I don't think.
What do you mean no? Did he go to any school at all?
He went to school when he was young, but I don't think he went to school after the age of
GCSE.
13, 14.
Oh, okay. All right. We have someone on the look. This topic is not a jolly kind of topic. You know, most times we are always connecting with our audience, but we can't start dancing around when we're talking about the loss of a loved one, and he's actually coming from his burial. He's been emotional. He's been crying behind the stage. We're so sorry.
It's fine to say. It's fine.
All right. And we have someone on the platform. Her name is Ogechukwu Nwako. Ogechukwu Nwako said, "Sorry for the loss, sir.
Thank you.
It's really painful losing a son to suicide."
A lot of people are just
they want to
William said, "May God grant you strength to bear the loss, sir."
Can I give them a little bit of advice? Like,
Yeah. You know, before you do that, we have a specialist that will be coming in. We have a specialist that has dealt with depressed people and families. He works with families. So I know both of you have been connecting. Hopefully you will continue to connect after this show. So you can tell them signs, but that is maybe towards the end.
Okay.
You give them the advice towards the end. There is someone on the platform. His name is Collins. Collins Kendo said, "Nigerian government is the root of all the suicide going on in that contract." I don't know what he's talking about. He said contraction. Maybe he wants to say contraction. Okay. People are just wishing him well. May his soul rest in peace.
And Lawrence, you know, here in London, there is a lot of gang going on right now. Was he in any way
No, he
in
wasn't.
a gang?
He wasn't that way. He's like me. He liked to be on his own.
Oh.
Like, he had a few close friends, but he weren't into any kind of gang culture or anything. Or like he was happy to sit for 3 days in his room on his own. Like, he was quite of a loner. But then if he found somebody that he identified had the same kind of background, or it didn't matter if he was a white ginger kid or if it was like, he wasn't kind of just hanging around with black guys or white guys. He just looked for people that were like him, basically.
So sorry. Someone again on the platform, I think is a lady. She's called Lolo Joy. Lolo Joy said, "Was your son always alone? Loneliness is a bad vibe." So the question is, because he lived in an assisted home, was he able to connect with people, or was he always alone?
Say 80% of the time I spoke with him, he was always with friends in the park. They'd be doing stupidness, drinking, getting high. But then once he was on the come down and everyone goes back to their own place to like rest and relax and deal with their stuff, he'd be on his own, and that's the worst time to be on your own. True. If you go to a party and drink for 2 days and you're having fun, and then when you're hungover in a dark room on your own, it's like all the feelings hit you, but you've got no one to express to.
Okay, before we continue with the questions, please share this post on your walls. If you have not done that, invite your friends to come and watch the live video. Call the phone number on the page. Please call us and ask. Feel free to ask Lawrence any question. So, Jen.
What do I want to? So right now, how are you getting on?
You know, the last time we were with him, he said he's gotten over him.
Yeah.
However, he was crying throughout today. So with your question, do you think you've gotten over him?
I'll never get over him.
True.
Ever. I'll never.
True.
Like, he was my best friend.
Oh.
And
Oh.
I've lost a lot in my life. I've lost a lot of people and.
Okay, they're all saying sorry for you. Say well done. I want to see. Okay, someone said this.
I'm fine, thank you.
You know, the counselor said we should stop giving tissue to people crying. That is we are trying to suppress them.
No, but he has to wipe it. Of course.
Okay, Lillian Warder on the platform. She's in our mind baby. Mother, we have in our mind baby. She's the mother of the baby. She said yes. Say no to suicide. It should never be an option. I think she's just expressing herself. She said life is not happening to you, but happening for you. I think she's just giving an advice. Thank you very much, Lydia.
There is one here from James. He said, I love people who is very vocal like you.
Yeah.
It's not easy to talk about what you went through today. It's not easy losing a son.
I appreciate that, James. Thank you. Thank you, James.
It's not. So now, we would like to ask you, was he ever bullied in school? Or was he persecuted?
I think he was bullied by, like, not to be tit for tat. I think he was bullied by his mother for being me. I was bullied by my mother for being me. To this day, she can't look at me.
Okay. Chia Gozi invite to appear. We see you requested to come on live. If you are still watching, rotate and accept the invite. You know, sometimes they appear via Facebook Live. All right. So again, let me see. They're just saying the Lord is your strength. Yeah. So the next thing is, I've asked you if you think he suffered from any mental issue.
He was mentally unstable. But it was like, I think the government and doctors and people are so easy to say, because you're down, it's because you're depressed or because you've got mental health issues or because of this or because of that. Not actually look at what is causing the problem.
Put it off. He's not able to accept. Go on, please.
Yeah. I was told as a child that I had issues or whatever.
There's another request. Sorry.
Some people are depressed because they know that if they was told the truth from the day they was born, and if they was given a chance of life, they could have been so much more. You know.
Anyway, I think let's see if we can. Angie, we've approved your request to come live. If you're still there, please accept it, because we want to get the expert. But again, you know, British, here in London, we have a lot of support system. We have a lot of support system in London to help victims of suicide. Did he or people feeling depressed, did he take any of the support? Did he use the support system?
No, not apart from no, he didn't.
Angie. Hey.
Hello.
Good evening.
I think the system is.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
But it's not clear. Okay, speak. Go on. Go on. Thank you for tuning in. What did you want to say? Anything or asking a question?
Not really, but I would like to say sorry to him for losing his son. It's not an easy thing. Then I would just like to contribute generally to your topic, the high rate of suicide. And I want to say it's not a very easy thing to deal with or cope with. And nobody has the superpower to see who is suffering from depression or anything that could lead to suicide. There are so many things that lead to suicide, and depression is one of it. And it could be caused by so many things, so many problems like stress, failed marriages, abuse, peer pressure, bullying, threat to the family. Some people's family will be threatened and they would like, instead of all my family to go, let me kill myself and end the threat, you know. So they are like going for the sake of their family. So many things. And it's not very easy to avoid, but most Nigerians blame the government. Government is government. Even people that are rich also commit suicide. Even people in Western world commit suicide. They have everything and yet they kill themselves. So we should at least, suicide is something you have to do for yourself to prevent it. You are the main person that have to help you not to kill yourself, no other person. Like when I was really depressed due to my bad marriage, I almost got to that point. You start by eating, doing things that will hurt yourself. You feel it's your fault, you blame yourself, and you don't care. And it's a mental disorder. So it's not really that person that is doing that, but the mind of the person has been taken over by whatever, and the person doesn't have that control anymore, doesn't have that sense of reasoning, doesn't know right from left, doesn't know good from bad, doesn't care, nothing like Christianity, nothing like moral, because the mind is degenerating. You're like turning it, going from a human being to an animal. So you have no sense of reasoning and you don't even know what you're doing. And it's not something that just happens immediately. It goes for a long time. You're thinking, you're sobbing, your mind is going and going. Whenever it will happen, the person might not even know. It just that the mind is gone. So the only thing is for the person to end themselves. So I would suggest that parents listen to their children.
I think the network is really bad. The network is we invite. The network is bad. Right now we will be inviting the what do you call it, rehabilitation specialist, Emeka. Please, can you come in, please? Thank you very much. Thank you. You want, okay. All right, come closer to come closer. So it won't be too far away from them. Okay. Yeah, keep coming. Keep coming.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes. This is Emeka. Emeka is a rehabilitation specialist. You look after the well-being of people in general. Yes. Emeka, I know you've been behind the stage listening to what Lawrence, his story about how he lost his son to suicide. Is there anything you think he would have humanly done to save his son?
Thank you for having me on this program. I've had some few minutes discussion with Lawrence, and I think as a father, he's done extremely well. I must, commend you.
Appreciate it.
Lawrence alluded to the fact that he spoke to his son like half an hour, every day, kind of reassuring him. I think that's what any parents will do. He never thought of the extreme worst case scenario, because it is a big deal when a person chooses to end it that way. So as a father, I think he saw some of the signs, the triggers, and he managed it quite well. I don't think there's anything humanly you could do, because most times when it does happen, it does happen.
True.
So as a father, personally speaking to Lawrence in the last hour, I think he did everything humanly possible. Lawrence is somebody who is really been far and wild. He's done, a lot of things in his life. He's been there, done that professionally. He's done well for himself as a father.
True.
So speaking to him, I think he's done everything humanly possible. And the only thing I see lacking is not from the parenting, but I think it's from also the society.
Yeah.
The fact
I
that
think you get to that stage. You talk about what the society or government need to do, because a lot of people, some of them are like, is the government, is this,
Doing
is
it
that?
all.
Yeah.
The victims, those that committed suicide, are they mentally stable, or do they?
it varies. Now, being suicidal or people who are victims of suicide does not necessarily mean they are mentally unwell.
Okay.
So there are various issues that could have led to that path.
Okay.
And with regards to the matter at hand,
Yeah.
it appeared that there was some underlying mental health challenges that he's facing at the time that might have led to that.
Yeah.
But we've had series of cases.
So this issue, they say that most people that commit suicide are mentally ill, is not correct.
It's not correct. It's not a
only
genetic
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
Okay.
not. So it's not a mental health issue.
Then why do people commit suicide?
Like I said, it varies for individuals. Social stressors, especially if you see the statistics, most men tend to, be more prone to that.
True.
And society.
Sorry, can you speak out?
Oh, sorry. So it depends on the individual. So if you look at across board, it tends to be more of a man, a man thing, trying to, who tends to actually commit the actual suicidal.
The percentage
carry
of
it out.
men, percentage of men is higher.
I want to bring you back to what you said, that is not generic, yeah. But while we were talking to Lawrence a few minutes ago before we started, he said he was telling us about the family, like he has they have a lot of history on about committing suicide.
Okay.
So do you think it has something to do with family, or?
Yes, sometimes yes. If there are history in the family, the tendencies might be there. But the trigger is
when you say tendency, because we want to be clear, is it hereditary or is it just copying?
It's not hereditary.
Okay.
So if a family has a history,
Okay.
does not necessarily mean
If someone says to you, like, your uncle killed himself, your
Yeah,
granddad
it's
killed
just,
himself,
yeah.
when life gets too much for you, you'll be like, I want to do what they did.
exactly.
Yeah.
That
If
is
most
it.
of them is suicidal.
If you've never heard of
it's a
something,
very,
you're not going to do it.
Exactly.
True.
You know, if
Exactly.
someone says, oh, your dad was a crackhead, yeah, when you get stressed, you're going to be like, I'm going to go and smoke some crack.
True,
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
Right now we have
So people
someone.
tend to feed into that
Yeah.
norms.
We have someone on the platform. Her name is Yetunde. Yetunde Adeyaju. She said parents need to pay attention to what is going on in their children's life.
I agree.
So okay, you
I
said
agree.
you just said you agree.
I agree.
Do you, once again, let me call you back to the initial question we asked. Do you think there is something you would have done differently? Because you said, if you know what you now know, do you think there's something you would have done differently to have saved your son? Not as an adult, but like what you said, what she's saying is parents from childhood, a whole lot of upbringing. Is there something, or I could ask you the question because you're still thinking about it.
I understand the question, but I believe, yeah, and I knew when Elliot's mum said to me, I'm pregnant with your child, blah, blah, blah. I was honest, I was open, I said, look, I've got nothing, I come from a broken home, I don't even love myself, and I don't love you.
Oh.
Why are we having a child? You know, and that child was brought up his whole life in, like, I was brought into the world by two people that didn't love themselves and didn't love each other and didn't love me. And this is the problem. Too many people having babies as tools, not as family.
As a weapon.
Not, yeah, they're tools. They're like, young girls have a baby, they get given a flat, they get given benefits, they never have to work, everyone runs around them, and then the man of that child is demonised his whole life, so he ends up on the outside. And then I had 3 other children with someone I was in a relationship for 19 years for.
Yeah.
And he was...
Okay, sorry.
Go on,
I'm
let's go.
done. Yeah, Mr. Mecca, is there any sign that people have to look out for? Is there, like, when you see your child behaving somehow, is there any sign?
Yes, but it can easily be misconstrued with being an introvert.
Okay.
People tend to think children or people who are quite quiet or lonely, not lonely, quite they keep to themselves. Reserved. It can easily be misconstrued about But the triggers here are, if you know somebody, for instance, if I had known Lawrence is boisterous, he's very, very athletic, very outspoken. And if I was close to him and all of a sudden he withdraws himself, doesn't do the usual activities, keeps to himself all of a sudden at, in his mid-30s, then that could be a trigger, that could be a flag, and I can, if I was a relative or a friend who is concerned, I could easily say, "Oh, Lawrence, how you doing? You've been, we'll not be seeing the football or, games and all that, So that could be a trigger. But it's very difficult to know somebody who is naturally an introvert. It's very, very difficult to know.
Yeah.
But in our society in the UK, people tend to keep to themselves.
True.
So that's why there's a very fine line there. But back home, where you have people who are naturally, who are very, very outspoken, who are very expressive, who love life so much, probably it's the weather, I don't know.
Okay.
But that, that is, you could easily pick up there. But over here, people tend to keep to themselves.
Yes, people tend to keep to themselves here. And you're from Nigeria originally.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know that in Nigeria, an attempt of suicide is a criminal offense?
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and I'm surprised though.
Thank you. What do government need to do rather than locking them up for up to 1 year? It's funny to you.
I can't even believe it.
Yeah, it's a criminal offense. Yeah, he's laughing.
I think it's absurd.
Yeah.
Because people who need support are being now criminalized. You see what I mean?
Locked up. One Ifeanyi was locked up for attempting to commit suicide.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sad.
It doesn't make sense. It
It doesn't make sense. These are people who need support.
This person hates their life so much that they want to kill themselves, so I'm going to lock you in a prison.
Yeah.
Which is going to make you love your life so much.
Exactly.
Adding to the issues. Yeah. So again, back to the causes of suicide. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you do? I know you are a rehabilitation specialist.
Yes.
And what do you guys do in your office to support victims or survivors or families of suicide?
Okay, thank you very much. Within the borough of Bromley, there's a lot of support out there.
When you say borough, they may not understand fully.
Okay, within the current local authority where I kind of work, we have a lot of support for victims and for people who are kind of going through having that experience where they've not had to do it, but we kind of support them to kind of correct whatever it is they're going through. We have a lot of support services out there, and to be frank, people don't reach out, and that's the concern here. There's a lot of support services out there, and people don't reach out. Like Lawrence alluded to. The son, Lawrence was his support, but he wasn't doing anything to reach out.
No. It's not just that he wasn't doing anything to reach out. He refused support.
Who?
Your son, Elliot.
It's not that he refused support. He was like a young guy. He just didn't.
He wasn't aware.
He wasn't aware of.
Is he not aware, or he's already in the social services? I believe they will offer him a lot of support. Did he take the support offered by the government?
He was like a typical young black guy that saw like social services, police, teachers, local authorities as like, you're not going to help me, you're going to add to my problems, you're not going to help, you're going to send some stranger who's never felt pain into my life telling me how to live.
My life, true.
There is a question here from Amaka.
Yes.
She said, how can I help a depressed friend?
Very beautiful. Amaka, it's very simple. If you have a depressed friend, it's to understand the root cause of that depression, because we usually treat the symptoms, we don't treat the root cause.
True.
So it's to understand the root cause, if it's financial, if it's social, when I mean social relationship, family, work, or the fact that peer pressure. So it's to understand the root cause, and you attack it from that point. Because people who are depressed, usually there's a cause. It could have started when they were very young, in a primary or secondary school, where they kind of experienced some level of bullying and they never recovered from that. So it's to kind of address that issue from the root cause and bring them up. We have seen, statistics have shown that sometimes even therapy can be counterproductive, because some people don't really want to deal with the past.
1 minute, please. Just 1 minute. Yeah, go on.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people think that if you see someone in a problem, they force their way in. But I believe in forcing the person out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people, they will create themselves this barrier. All the time they're inside that barrier, they're never going to help.
Yeah.
But if you pull them outside of that protective circle, what they're trying to thing, no matter, then they've taken that step forward already.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You understand? But when you force your way into their depression, sometimes they can pull you in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But if you force them out, then
Absolutely.
it's helping.
Someone is on.
Okay, someone is on the line.
Yeah, it's gone.
Get back. All right. Mr. Emeka,
Yes.
back in Nigeria, suicide is becoming common these days,
Okay.
especially with university students.
Okay.
And when you look at it, parents are giving their kids too much pressure. You will see a 15-year-old child in the university. Do you think that is an issue? Do you think it is one of the causes of high rate of suicide now in Nigeria?
Personally, I don't think so. There's no statistics to actually suggest that.
Okay.
I think kids thrive in a very, very holistic environment. In Nigeria, yes, too much pressure could be a trigger, but generally speaking, kids actually thrive if you get the balance right. Okay, in Nigeria, most parents tend to a lot of academic pressure because that's all you really have. And while I was growing up, there was very healthy competition. We never had this level of suicidal rates then. But I think now it's because of the social issues. We have a very, dysfunctional system where nothing actually works, and you have people in their late 30s, early 40s. There's no future, and you have kids coming up, and they're thinking there's nothing there for us, and they kind of tend to look at other measures to cover up those lapses. So personally, I don't think it's a problem, but obviously we need to get the balance right. But kids tend to thrive even when there's a pressure, but with the right environment and support, they tend to thrive. So I don't think I think it's the social issues that has to
deal with it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
At the moment, obviously, in Nigeria, the suicide rate is higher, but in England, the murder rate is higher. You have got young people killing themselves in this country, but you've got young people that have got so much disregard for life that they will take another life, and it's the same thing. Do I kill myself or do I kill someone else?
It's beautiful you say this, because that's part of it.
Because either way, people are dying. Young people are dying. Young men are dying.
And that comes back to what I was saying. It's a social thing, the societal thing, and the social thing is a social issue. So here in the UK, we have young people who are not really properly supported in the right way, okay, and they result into gang wars and all that because they are not really engaging with meaningful activities. And you have people back home who are really engaging in things that they think are meaningful, but obviously there are other social stressors like financial issues. There's no support network.
People back home in Nigeria are not as supported as the young people here in London.
Well, support could be very selective. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
So it could
Like
be
family life in Nigeria is
more
more
fully structured.
yeah,
It's more structured,
than
more
that
fully
of England. But the support system from the government is definitely more here than.
It depends on what you call support, because I don't understand what you call support, where parents haven't got, enough rights to really, because it all starts from when they're young. So it's what you instill in your children, they tend to get.
You put around
You see what I mean? So if parents are not really supported to impact some of their values, their culture into them, then you see these things springing up. The state is not doing enough.
Do you mean the children being given higher rights or equal rights with parents?
Yes, but the real issue is the state not giving parents enough support, especially working class parents. What supports are there for you to support your children? Some of them do very, very long hours. They haven't got the time to parent those children.
I believe that a lot of the problems with young men are like, you might have a young guy who's athletic like me, but their parents are dentists, and they'll be forced to be something they don't want to be. The guy wants to run around in the field, and that's his nature. That's who he is. That's the gift God gave him. But he's going to be forced to sit behind a desk and study and stare in people's mouths, and he's like. And in society, in our culture now, just as what God intended a man to be, we're stripped of. We're not allowed to express ourselves. We're not allowed to be. You're annoying me. Keep on. I'm going to take you outside and slap you around. That is something a man should be able to express. Like 50 years ago, two guys that have a problem in school, the teachers would put them in the boxing ring and make them fight. But now,
does not necessarily make it right.
I'm not saying it's right, but you're not allowed to express yourself as a man. Someone's annoying you, you go home with all that pressure in your head. Because if you're at work and you say to someone, mate, shut up, leave me alone, everyone's looking at you like, look at him. Do you know what I mean? So you keep your mouth shut and you don't talk, but then people want everyone to express themselves, and like, to who?
All right.
Yes.
Emeka, there is a question for you here from Chichi. She said, can you be depressed and don't know it?
Of course, you can. Yes, in fact, that's the higher risk, when you're not even aware. You have no insight, and even when people let you know that, you might be going through some, stuff, you're like, you're in denial. You're like, no, I'm fine, actually. It's just the time I'm having to myself, things happen. Why are you being so concerned? Can't I have my time to myself? Even in relationships, marriages, friendship, whatever, people kind of withdraw. And when you tend to tell them, you're not coming out the last time, we'll have this. And you're like, no, I just got things to do. And, so yes, you could be in denial. Yes, in fact, that's the ones that really, really it gives us a red flag.
Right now, there was something we were talking, Amaka, I think her name is Amaka. She asked a question regarding help to render to a friend.
Okay.
Yeah? And then you said that some people need financial assistance. Some people need emotional assistance, support. Right now, we want to announce to you that it's not just looking out for the signs. Tony Namani. Hello, Tony Namani. Hello. Okay. Right now, our previous speaker from last week promised that they want to support someone on this platform. It is not just to watch out for symptoms of depression or suicide. That watching out for it is not enough. That they want to go ahead to support one member of this platform that is unemployed. What they want to do is not just giving them 50,000 naira or whatever. They want to get one person that is unemployed, that has a business idea. They want to mentor the person to do a business. And also, when they are happy and satisfied, the person is ready to kick off the business, they will now give the person any financial assistance they need to get the business rolling. So if you are there, we'll give you more details about how to be selected. Yeah. So we'll get Tony Namani. We'll get Tony to speak to you guys to confirm later on before the end of the show. Yeah. Do you have more?
No, I'm looking at the time.
Oh yes, oh yes. Do you have anything?
No.
Okay,
Really.
see if you can get Tony Namani, because Tony Namani wanted to also say it to them.
Mr. Mecca, actually we're running out of time.
Yeah.
The show is 1 hour.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Lawrence first. Okay.
Before that. Yeah, Tony, you know, we've talked a lot, we've done a lot of discussion, people have asked questions. Now, what do you, in our community where we're originally from, people suffering depression or suicide are being stereotyped, stigmatized, and labeled. In fact, some of them are being mocked. They are not taken seriously. Sometimes they are called attention seekers. What do you say to those that do not really understand and sympathize or support victims of suicide?
Thank you very much. It's really sad. We're in an environment where there's not enough awareness. Now, aside from issue around suicidal, there's a lot of things in Nigeria where we tend to max, you know, religion is one of them. We have a lot of religion fanatics.
Yeah.
Mental health is one of them. People actually see mental health as a spiritual attack. So you have a society where they're constantly in denial of reality. The same thing with governance, you know, we see it in governance, they're constantly in denial when the facts are there. So for me, it's sad. So I think it's more of awareness, creating awareness. These things are real. So if I'm having suicidal thoughts or, you know, attempting suicide, it's real. There are things that I'm battling with, you know. So the support I will need is for someone to understand and look at the root cause. It could be a family issue. It could be, a lot of people are abused back home who have suffered a lot of domestic rape and all that, and we tend to max it in, and in the adulthood it comes out. Okay, so we're just experiencing those things. It's always been there. Suicidal issues have always been there, but because we don't have statistics back home, we don't have a governance that actually capture these things. It now looks like all of a sudden it's happening. It's always been there. Okay, just because people like you are coming out, the media is there now. People are more aware. It's been there. Rape, criminality, it's always been there. So what I would hope for is to have a governance who actually has the will to deliver, capture these things. You know, we have building collapsing. There are recommendations being done by renowned architects. I have friends who are architects who are involved directly. They made these recommendations in the last decade. But government doesn't put these things into use. So with the societal issues, we have mental health institutions who are very worthy, who are ready to support people. But because this general society, the general norm is that no, it's not happening to me, or it doesn't happen to me. Lawrence is bold enough. He's a real man. He's come out here and said, you know, these facts are there. And I'm ready to confront and take ownership and see how to move on. How many of our people can actually do that? You know, so the support network can be there. You know, it's just that the state and the people have to really take ownership and really ready to move on with it. You know. So.
All right. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Like I always say to people, you can't tell somebody, you can't say to somebody, I know how you feel, because you've not been there. You've been through this now. Is there any advice that you can say to our audience?
As you're thinking of what to say,
The advice.
as you're thinking of what to say, Lawrence brought some pictures. Can you see? Lawrence is actually a military officer. He used to work as a soldier. Show the second part. The second part was when he was actually going to Afghanistan to fight for during the
When the Twin Towers.
the Twin Tower during the Twin Tower. Thank you very much there. Yeah, so go ahead. We forgot to show your son. Show them the child in the middle on green. That is Lawrence's son, the one that committed suicide. Elliot, the baby in green.
And the cousin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's hard to, because like my friend here has tried to pinpoint, there's a million reasons why people would kill themselves, and people always look for the weakness and for the withdrawal. But in my mind, I've been suicidal before, but I didn't feel strong enough to take the action. It takes a build-up. You have to, and people have to see someone. You'll be low, but you'll be building your strength up and your whatever, because it's not an easy thing to do. To take your life, to take a knife to yourself or to hang yourself is, you know, it's not something that takes weakness. It's something that takes
Strength.
so much strength, which I'm not commending or saying that it's like respectable strength, but it is something that takes strength. People always look out for signs of weakness. You look out for someone who has been down, that is rising very quickly, that is becoming very agitated and very short-tempered and whatever, because that is someone on the sign of eruption, someone who's going to explode. And they're either going to hurt somebody else or they're going to hurt themselves or do something crazy. I've driven to Dover and sat in my car on the edge of the cliffs and thought to myself, but, you know, then I've convinced myself no. Yeah? I've contemplated suicide at least once a month for my whole life. Yeah, and I'll be honest about that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a contemplation, but then I think of, what if next month my life improves? What if next year my life improves? What if, this is just the downtime and I'm going to be up, you know? And my advice to anyone who feels suicidal is to give life a chance. Yeah, because you was born. You're going to live, you're going to create life, you're going to see life go. But live your life and enjoy it. In good times and in bad, because life is about balance. No one's life's perfect.
All right. Thank you very much. The question and answer section. Yeah, right now is the time for the question and answer session. Remember the first to answer. The question is, what is the percentage, the rank of Nigeria globally in suicide, both male and female, not separately? What is the ranking of Nigeria globally in suicide? Thank you very much.
All right. Mr. Mecca, in just 1 minute,
Okay.
please, can you a bit of advice or say
Yes.
something?
Thank you very much. Just to like anywhere in the world, there are support services. People should explore those support services. Okay, reach out. Okay, family, any local network. People should reach out. There's always support out there, and we need to ask. We need to have the spirit of asking. You know, it's sometimes it can be daunting when you have asked and you don't see any. But it's to continue to reach out, and because there is some support out there, and people should look out for what their protective factors is. For Lawrence, he had a lot going on for him, family, children, partner, you know. So there are support around us that we just need to look and ask for those support. So, and for instance, where we are currently in the borough we are in London, there's a lot of support out there. People should just reach out and they will get help. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, you just said it all, but there are also countries where suicide is a criminal offense. In closing, all we have heard so far, Jen, I know you want to say something.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Do you think the problem with suicide is that, like, it takes till you can't take no more for it to happen? It's not like something that you think next Saturday I'm going to kill myself. it's like you'll wake up and go, I can't face it, and then they go boom. It's not something that people can predict. You can't predict it within yourself.
Yes.
You know, like I can wake up tomorrow, feel so alone and so down, and think about everything, my son, my wife leaving me, my life being so terrible, and just take my life. Where right now I'm sitting there feeling like a normal person, strong.
Yes.
It's like that second that it takes for you to make that decision.
Yes.
There might not be no one else to see it.
Oh, of course, of course. What I was saying was the build-up. So sometimes when we reach out, we tend to have things that would act as a check valve. But yes, in that instant, there's nothing anyone can do. But during the process, the build-up that leads to that, we might have the opportunity where something will come as a check valve. Services, family, friends that will just come in as a check valve, and it kind of takes the edge off. So of course, but in that instance, of course, we've had issues where instances where people will just, they are all happy, but all of a sudden they still go ahead, So there is no absolute cure.
Okay.
But what we're asking is that once there's family, friends, support services out there, we'll try to exploit. So you're very right, Lawrence. Well, when you get to that point, what can we do? Okay, but it's the point where it leads to that point. There might be support that would at least reduce the chances of.
The boldest guy on earth.
Yes.
And with Nigeria, I'm afraid we'll have a government that has a good reason. So we can only hope for the best. If a government decides to punish, then it shows you the level of
It
reason.
is in the constitution of
It's
Nigeria.
sad. It's sad.
In a
People who need
constitution.
support, and you're punishing them. You're not even giving the support, let alone you.
I think it's.
But I think a lot of people are scared as well. If you go to a doctor or to a professional and say, I want to kill myself, they're scared of being strapped to a table and pumped full of drugs, and then when you leave, everyone always treats you like, oh, he's fragile.
Oh.
Like that
Yeah.
kind of stigma of someone who's got.
The stigma is a big problem, but it's also the awareness. If the awareness is there, then the stigma will reduce. We used to have this in the UK. Mental health is a big stigma. Up to now, it's still a big stigma, but because of the awareness and the fact that everyone in 4 persons has, so it reduces the stigma. So it's everywhere in the world, But we are making, proactive efforts to at least let it out there and tell people, look, there is support. It's normal. It's not against you. It's not a witchcraft. It's not a big deal. Things happen, but please, we're here to support you. When you have a society that is in denial, then it's a completely different issue.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. There is no more time. We've already passed the hour. The only thing I have to say, my own opinion, I don't think suicide is something that parents can prevent. Like, it's not something that we can. I don't know how to say it now. Yeah, you can't predict it. You can't. But it's good for parents to get close to their kids, talk to your kids. Even if when I still remember when my daughter was bullied at school, she didn't tell me. She didn't tell me, but
you kind of noticed it.
Yeah. So it's good to get close to your kids.
Have that relationship.
Have good relationship with them. Talk with them. I think it will go a long way.
It does.
Not that you can do anything, but it will go a very long way.
So what we gathered in the end is 3 things. 1, you need to talk to someone. If you see someone withdrawing, as you said, please talk to them. Yeah. Secondly, all they may need from you is just a listening ear. Look, maybe the line between life and death could be just listen to me. Listen to me. Just listen to me. Listen and let me share my sorrow. And lastly, what I think is that they may also need a shoulder to lean on. We all love to lean on someone when we need help.
Yeah.
Jen is always leaning on my shoulders. She's always leaning on my shoulders.
Is that true, Jane?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I'm just hearing this for the first time.
To lean on, give someone a shoulder to lean on.
So your shoulder must be hurting you by now.
No, your head is small. So
you know.
I saw their answers.
Okay.
And let me remind you the question. I have not seen the right answer. The question is, what is the rank, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 100 and something ranking of Nigeria in global society? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll close right now.
Yeah.
We'll definitely continue. We want to thank you once again for coming, and thank you. I think we are going to build a relationship. Yeah, we're going to build a relationship. Oh yeah. Woo! All right.
Never forget where I come from, not forget to I just want to stay back in the one day you must pray. I come from East, the end of Trinity, brother, you know. I don't to be everything I do is just penetrate. I just want to say thank you to you. I'm living like I get angels for my ghetto. Never forget where I come from, not from ghetto. Yes. Thank you very much.
The people love what you did.
Thank you very much.
Advice. So,
I'm
you
very
want
honored
to
to
say
be here.
anything again?
I'm so honored to be here. I'm happy that something like this is happening, and it's a great awareness, it's a great opportunity, and I'm so glad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you guys. We love you guys. Lawrence.
Was it emotional? He couldn't stay.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is why I had to escort him. So again, remember, our destiny is in our hands. Thank you very much.
Love you.
We love